Hi, and welcome to May 2019 Patreon rewards video. So it's been a very intense, stressful, hectic couple of weeks. And I'm not going to really go too much into it except to say that um, near the end of the month, I ended up having to take my car into the shop and I've had to take the bus into work. I'd had a hiatus for about a week, and that was great ish because there was so much to do. I mean, so much to do during my hiatus. I really didn't get a whole lot of time to rest and recover. And then I was right back into work. And then my car needed to be going to the shop to get its third engine. And so I'm putting that. I'd rather pay for an engine than pay for a brand new car. I'd rather be in debt for a few, uh, for a little bit than in debt for a lot. So hopefully, um, that's going to be taken care of, and I'm still taking the bus, so that's kind of gotten in the way a little bit of my coaching. Um, so earlier in the month, I finished the CG model that I was working on. So let's actually really quickly right now get to what you could expect from the rewards this month. I'm going to try to be as quick as possible just because um, tomorrow, as the time of this recording is Mother's Day. I'm recording this late. We've had a really busy day. I'd rather just kind of very quickly tell you guys, show you what you're going to receive. Uh, Tell who wins the the postcard, and we're off to the races. So I'll make this as short as possible. So everybody's going to get screenshots of the CG model, but silver patrons are actually going to get the file, the Blender file, the model, so that you guys can play around with it and look around in it. But overall, this is kind of what is the models will look like. I didn't take pictures of the opposite side, but so what's going to happen is what's missing is 7 statues. So there's going to be a statue here, and it's going to be really, really big. There's going to be a statue right here that's going to be not as big, but it's still going to be big. There's another one that's going to be here. So there's going to be 3 statues here. There's going to be one over here. There's going to be one all the way over here, and then there's 2 more at the on the other side. There's a doorway on the other side, and there's going to be 2 statues there. So I have to design all the statues, so that's what I ended up doing this month so that I could then I'm not going to sculpt the statues in here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use Design Doll, which is what I tend an app I tend to use to do poses with, which is this little figure here is from Design Doll. That's actually the figure that I built to proportion to my character. So I'm going to get Design Doll. I'm going to pose out the Design Doll in the position I want the statue to be in, and then I'm gonna create a pedestal for all of them. I'm just gonna duplicate. I'm gonna make one pedestal. I'm gonna duplicate them all, and then I'm going to just pose using the Design Doll. I'm gonna pose the characters where I want it, and then I'm gonna export the pose and put it in here and just plug it in, and then that way I'll have at least the pose of the figures, not necessarily the design of the figures complete. But and this is what it looks like within the program. This is what it'll look like once all rendered with the line work, so that I could more easily draw it. But this is what it looks like in CG. Okay, so concerning uh, the the statues, so I needed to design the statues, and each statue I wanted to make a statue of the seven virtues, um, and so the statues are so I started designing them this month. This is the design for hope. This is the design for fortitude. This is the design for faith. And here are my sketchbook drawings for trying to come up with the designs. So here is the design, my sketches for justice. Here again is faith and hope. And here's dress designs. And this is my design for agape, which is unconditional love, which here is based off of my wife. So this drawing here is of my wife. This is not quite right. This doesn't quite look like her. This also doesn't quite look like her, but this one does. I think this one I got right. I also went to the zoo with my kids. I have one of my sons had a birthday. We have an annual pass to the zoo, which means that we could all get in for free. The entire family gets in for free. We only pay once, and then we get in for free for the rest of the year, which is great because paying for the annual pass was actually cheaper than paying for a day at the zoo with my whole family. So we actually ended up saving money just to get the annual pass, so that and then we could go back in and go in all the time. So I ended up being able to sketch, and this time I actually kept my sketchbook, and I didn't lose my sketchbook at the zoo. So these are sketches that I got to do at the zoo of animals, and I did this along with my daughter. My daughter was also sketching with me, and that was really fun. I need to go to the zoo with my daughter just together, just so that we could just sit and have a drawing day, because when we go with the kids, they want to move on, while my daughter and I, we kind of want to sketch. And finally, this is agape. This is the design for agape, the virtue, and unconditional love. Basically, charity is another term, based on my wife. So this is what my wife actually looks like. So I always draw all these women all the time. One time a friend of mine said, asked my wife, don't you get jealous that he's drawing all these women? And she said, no, because what he's doing is he's practicing, because this is what I told her. I'm also practicing, trying to build my skill up so that I could actually paint her. I could draw her now, but I want to be able to paint her. And part of the problem, and there's a difference between when I'm drawing other women and when I'm going to draw my wife. And the problem is that my wife looks like my wife. And if I'm going to paint my wife, she has to look like my wife. When I draw any other woman, I don't care what they look like. I don't care if I capture their likeness. I don't care. I'm just painting to paint. So I could mess with their face and change their face and change what they look like and whatever. And so it's stress-free painting because it doesn't matter to me if I'm capturing their likeness or not. But when I'm capturing my wife, if I'm going to paint my wife, I want it to look like her. Not on top, and on top of that, I want it to look like her, but I also want it to look like how I feel about her. And then that is really, really difficult. So it's easier to draw other women than to draw my wife. But this drawing, I really like. I think it captures how I feel about her and what she looks like at the same time. This is a sketch. I don't remember if I included this finished full sketch page last month, but I'm including it again if I didn't. It's got all the extra stuff. Like I know that one version had some of it, and then I added a few things as I sculpted and modeled the location. This is the postcard that everybody's going to receive this month, and here is the actual physical postcard. I ended up. This was really difficult postcard to do, and I mean that by because I was completely and totally uninspired to paint anything at all. Like I had no motivation to paint. I had no motivation to draw anything that wasn't kind of related to my comic and the sculptures that I was doing. I had no motivation to just randomly doodle so the fact that this painting came out as as okay as it did, as nice as it did, is in spite of the fact that I had that I forced myself to do the painting with absolutely zero desire. And by the way, I started 2 or 3 drawings. In fact, I have some in my sketchbook that I'm going to share next month. And I have another one. Let me show you. This is the one that I started, and I kind of abandoned it. I wasn't feeling it. I didn't like it. It wasn't what I wanted. It wasn't what it's Spider Woman, but it was just I had no anything. I just didn't. It didn't click. So it's abandoned. I'm not gonna finish it. It's dead. It didn't happen. This I actually did at a friend's birthday party. My cousin's nephew, my nephew's birthday. He was having a birthday party, and I just decided to sit down and see what happens if I started painting in the sunlight there on the grass at the park, because it took place at a park. And this is what happened. It came out, and I'm actually very proud of it. I powered through it. You know, sometimes you just don't feel like doing the thing, and you just power through it, and things come out. So everybody's going to get a digital copy of this, but the person who is going to win the actual painting is Patrick McKinney. Patrick is one of the people who I am coaching. So Patrick, congratulations. You are going to receive this postcard. I believe I have your address via Patreon, so I am going to send this to that address, and I will simply contact you via Patreon just to confirm that it is indeed your address, and that's where I should send it. So congratulations. And finally, I've got this sketch, this design for Justice. So Justice is here. She's holding a sword. Usually she's depicted holding scales. I decided not to use any scales. I didn't see the point of using scales. I think Justice is far scarier than that. That's why I kind of was thinking almost like she's wearing a hood. She's mysterious. It's almost like she's deaf. And it is because I think that there's a line in Hamlet where the actors come. They're going to do the play, and I forgot what that one character's name is. But he said to Hamlet, I will treat them according to their deserts. And Hamlet said, much better, man. If you treat everyone according to their deserts, who'd escape whipping? Um, that's how I think of justice. Everybody is like, that person, I deserve this, I deserve that, I deserve, that person deserves to get punished, that person deserves because of what he's done, what he's done, what he's done. I think that we're all done so many bad things in our lives that we deserve worse than we're getting. And if we were really living in a completely, purely just world, we'd be beaten all the time. So I think justice is very, very scary. I often think, oh, I wish I could get my, because there's a few things. There's a personal thing that's happening right now in the background in our lives. There's uh, there was an accident. The person doesn't want to pay that caused it, and all this other stuff. And a lot of this kind of like justice must be served kind of feelings come out, and but I'm also at the same time hyper aware of the fact that sometimes we may not think we. Sometimes we think we deserve more than we really deserve. Um, so that was just my thoughts when I was drawing justice as a virtue here. Kind of too deep a thought here. I'm sorry, I went a little bit philosophical, and actually I could probably talk about all these virtues a little bit more in depth, and I think I'm going to in the long run. I've been meaning to design these virtues so I can do paintings of them and then just kind of like write descriptions of them and what they mean um, in depth. Uh, because I think they're worth investigating. So the virtues that are missing, the last two, are fortitude and temperance. They have been designed, but I designed them this month of May rather than last month, and these are the things I designed and drew last month. So I will send the last two virtues next month. And I will finish the background and put the statues into the background, and then I'll be finally done with the background, and then I can go back to drawing the comic. Okay, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching the video, and I hope you have a great month. Thank you so much for your support. It means the world to me. Believe me. I am so grateful that you guys are here supporting me on Patreon. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. And I'll talk to you next time. All right, bye.